Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a massive revolution in the world of business marketing. We're talking about the huge shift from relying on gut feelings to a straight-up data-driven science. And this quote right here from Bill Rosier, it just perfectly sums up the old world of B2B marketing. For the longest time, marketing was kind of seen as this soft department, right? A necessary expense, sure, but one where proving its actual value, almost impossible. Yeah, it was really an era defined by what you might call smoke and mirrors. The real impact marketing had on the bottom line, super subjective. The methods they used, so hard to track. And because of all that, their credibility inside the company was, well, often painfully low. And this slide, it really visualizes the core of that whole revolution. We've literally moved from the art of marketing, stuff that relied on intuition and creative hunches, to the science of marketing. And that demands data, metrics, and results you can actually measure. It's a huge difference between saying, hey, we think this works, and being able to say, we can prove this works. So the old playbook, it was filled with all these tactics that were just notoriously difficult to connect to actual sales. Think about it, glossy print ads, super expensive trade show booths. How do you track a direct sale from that? You really can't. And that made it incredibly hard for marketers to prove their worth, which of course led to low morale and that dreaded cost-centered label from the finance folks. So what exactly lit the fuse for this massive change? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was more like a perfect storm of three powerful forces that basically forced the entire industry to either evolve or get left behind. Okay, so first up, field sales teams started shrinking. This created a huge gap, right? Somebody had to nurture potential customers from just being kind of interested to actually being ready for a sales call. And guess who that fell to? Yep, marketing. Then, second, you had these intense budget cuts. Management was demanding more for less, more leads, less money, which forced marketers to get really, really innovative. And third, the big one, the internet arrived. It brought this tidal wave of data and a brand new expectation. If you can't measure it, it basically didn't happen. So in this brand new world, the entire strategy just flipped on its head. Instead of marketers just blasting their messages out to everyone, the goal became pulling customers in with something they actually wanted. And what was that? Valuable, helpful content. And that right there is the core idea behind inbound marketing. The concept is actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. Stop interrupting what people are interested in and instead become the thing people are interested in. The whole goal is for customers to find you when they're already out there actively looking for answers. You see, content became the new currency for building trust. By creating articles, guides, videos, anything that genuinely helped potential buyers solve their problems, companies could start to warm up those leads. They could establish themselves as the credible experts in their field long before a salesperson ever got involved. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. The data is crystal clear. When you analyze thousands of businesses, you see this direct connection. The more you blog with relevant problem-solving content, the more leads you get. I mean, check this out. Companies that are blogging over 20 times a month see this massive lift. We're talking nearly 4 times more leads than businesses that don't blog at all. That's huge. Let's put another big number on that, just to really drive it home. 67%. B2B marketers who are consistently blogging generate a staggering 67% more leads every single month than the ones who aren't. I mean, at that point, the science of content marketing is pretty much undeniable. But, okay, creating great content, that's really only half the battle. Because with the rise of all these digital tools, marketers finally got the power of precision. We're talking about the ability to get that amazing content to the right person at the exact right moment. And today, an absolutely overwhelming 91% of tech marketers are using something called intent data. So think about that. They're not just guessing who might be interested anymore. They're using actual data to see who is actively researching solutions online, like right now. So what is this intent data stuff? Well, it's basically the digital breadcrumbs people leave behind as they browse the web. For example, let's say 3 different people at the same company suddenly start downloading white papers about cloud security and visiting pricing pages for firewall providers. That is a huge signal. That's intent data in action, and it tells you exactly who you should be talking to. And that kind of precision targeting is absolutely crucial because, let's be honest, the days of selling to just one single decision maker, those are long gone. Today, the average major tech purchase involves a whole committee. We're talking an average of 25 different people, split almost evenly between the IT folks and the business departments. It's a whole new ballgame. So the big question is, how in the world do you market to a committee of 25 people? Well, that complexity means modern marketing just can't operate in silos anymore. Real success requires an integrated, a totally 360-degree approach that creates one seamless experience for that entire group of dyers. So, an integrated campaign, it looks at the entire customer journey. It makes sure every single touchpoint works together in harmony. From a social media post to a sales call, all the way to an in-person event. The message stays consistent, and each channel actually makes the others even stronger. And this is often structured by mapping your content to where the buyer is in their journey. So, in the early discover phase, a buyer is just exploring. They need educational blogs, high-level research. But later on, when they're getting ready to actually buy, they need the nitty-gritty stuff, like detailed spec sheets and side-by-side competitive comparisons. The content has to evolve right along with them. And why does this whole educational approach matter so much? Simple, because buyers actually reward it. Almost 3/4 of tech buyers say they are way more likely to consider a vendor who guides them through each stage of the process. Think about it. They're not looking for a hard sales pitch. They're looking for a helpful partner. So the B2B marketing revolution is here to stay. This shift from a subjective art to a data-driven science has completely changed the game. And that leaves every single business out there with one really crucial question. Is your marketing still just an art, or have you finally embraced the science?